Last year it was Andrew Luck doing his best Peyton Manning impersonation, or how about Alfred Morris channeling Terrell Davis? Which college stars have a doppelganger already playing in the NFL? To answer that question, we call upon Russ Landy, National Football Post Scouting Director, and our Managing Editor, Pete Futek. Russ, I said doppelganger, and just I don't know how to quite respond to that. So give us the NFL players and their counterparts.
You know, I think there are two guys very interesting in terms of how they seem together. You look at star Lotulelei and Haloti Ngata, who's already a star in the NFL. They're very similar. They're versatile guys, powerful, explosive. They can play any position along the defensive line in a three-man front with, I think, the ability to be game changers for the long term. And then I look at Bjorn Werner, defensive end at Florida State, a good but not elite athlete, but so technically sound and plays with such a ferocious, aggressive attitude that he reminds me a lot of Chris Long when he came out of Virginia. Very similar player. I think it'll take him a year for him to really gauge and deal with the athleticism increase in the NFL. But I think 2 years from now, you're talking about a 12, 14 sack a year guy.
That's asking a lot out of Lotulelei, first of all, to be not. I mean,
There's no question.
He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. I mean, the defensive tackles, there aren't a lot of them who are Hall of Fame caliber guys, and Not is going to be one of them. He was more of a rock. He was more of just an anchor that you stick in the middle of the line and say, okay, for the next 10 years, he's going to be our guy. I don't know if Latulelei's got that strength, though, does he? He's more of an interior pass rusher than he is just a let's sit him in there and work everything around
Well, the great thing about Lotulelei, when you watch him, is he can be the anchor. He can be your nose in a 3-4. He's got great explosiveness to get in the backfield, and he's got the speed to chase plays down. I mean, I've spoken to scouts around the league. They think he's by far and away the best interior lineman to come out since Ngata.
And then as far as Chris Long, he was just a pure athlete. I mean, remember him at the combine, he was moving like a defensive back, smooth as glass, smooth as silk. I don't know if Warner is that guy, but how they do compare favorably, though, is both of them put up massive sacks against really bad teams. they stockpiled their numbers against the James Madisons of the world, disappeared at times a little bit. I don't know if I'm as sold as Warner, but he's
I think what it is also is it took Chris Long, a year or two before
took
he
him
really
a while.
blossomed.
He was a bust to start.
And I think Warner's going to go through that same adjustment. He's going to have to adjust to dealing with better players, but 2 years from now, I think he'll be fine.
All right, Pete, you heard Russ's list. How about yours, guys that have an NFL counterpart?
I am going to start with the quarterback, Matt Barkley. Compare him with Rex Grossman, guys who are slightly undersized, both going to go in the middle of the first round. Grossman's much maligned now, especially by the Chicago Bears fans, because he didn't find a big pick he didn't like to throw. But he was pretty good. When he was surrounded by a lot of good players, he did take a team to the Super Bowl, and he was pretty above average for a long time. I think that's kind of where Barkley's ceiling is going to be. Barkley's not going to be bad, but I don't see him being a superstar. He's not going to hold the Lombardi Trophy because of what he can do. It's going to be the players around him. The other guy I want to compare is Giovani Bernard to Ahmad Bradshaw of the New York Giants, formerly a Marshall running back. Kind of a versatile guy, a little bit smallish, can bang the ball in between the tackles, can handle himself well, can do a little of everything right, but he needs a bigger back to carry a lot of the workload. Bernard's not going to be able to carry 30 times a game like he did in college at times, but he can be a return specialist, can be a little bit of a quick speedster. He's not all that blazing fast, but I think he can get the job done.
You know, and it's interesting you bring up Grossman. I think there's some definite similarities in terms of not being big guys, both being a little bit underrated, I think, in terms of their arm strength. I think the one area that Barkley, to me, is superior than Grossman, and this is what I think gives him a chance to be a special quarterback, is above the shoulders. He's rare.
They're very different. Rex Grossman enjoyed his time in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the difference.
Barkley's a little bit Tebow-esque without being Tim Tebow. Great guy. Both of them good guys, but just completely different animals.
He's a little bit almost Peyton Manning.
Exactly.
It's all business all the time. There's no time for fun, and that's what I think gives him a chance to succeed at a higher level than Grossman. In terms of Bradshaw, I think that's a great comparison. Giovani Bernard to Bradshaw. He's a better outside runner now, but you can see the flashes of what he will be as he matures and becomes a runner. He knows how to run between the tackles. He's got the burst to get through and make big plays. I think that's just a perfect comparison.
He's a brilliant man.
Yeah. Quickly, do we have any Tony Mandarich or Ryan Leaf clones?
You know what? There's one to me that a lot of people love. I just don't get it. Jarvis Jones, to me, everybody talks about this guy as a top 10 pick, a superstar. When I grade him on film, I see a very inconsistent competitor. I've never seen a great player that was an inconsistent competitor. To me, that's a real scary guy to take in the first round.
I don't necessarily think there is one, because remember, Mandarich and Leaf, they were these guys. Mandarich was the prototype offensive tackle. Leaf was supposed to be good enough to knock. Is he going to be number one over Peyton Manning? There isn't that guy in this draft. This is a bad draft for top 5 guys, but I do like Jarvis Jones.
Good stuff to keep an eye on here with the draft coming up. Russ Landy, Pete Futek, guys, thanks very much. New Colorado football coach Mike McIntyre is trying to change the culture in Boulder. We ask him what are realistic expectations for the Buffaloes, only on CampusInsiders.com.